If you're around my age and think of your first camera, it might look something like this, or this. Something that your parents might have used to capture Christmases and birthdays that just piqued your interest and got given to you. When I think of one of my first cameras, I think of this, and it's not even really a camera. Back in 2009, Apple introduced the iPod Nano 5th Gen.
We're going to build a video camera right into the new iPod Nano.
From the front, it looked just like the previous generation, but flip it over and you'll find a tiny 640 by 480 video camera on the back in a spot that is bound to get plenty of fingers in frame. At the time, smartphones were becoming the norm with cameras in everyone's pockets. But for a 14-year-old me in a one-income household, that really wasn't an option. iPod Touches were still a year away from having cameras built in, and trust me, I had one of those things, and I was still rocking a terrible Nokia brick phone that technically did video if you could tell the different pixels apart. I already had a deep love of movies back then and knew I wanted to make my own. It was just a matter of how. Hi, I'm Zach. I make videos, and this little guy is an iPod Nano 5th Gen with a tiny little video camera in the corner. Nowadays, everyone is chasing that dad camcorder look with plenty of dad cams on Facebook Marketplace, old Canons going like crazy, and apps coming out left and right trying to mimic that old VGA style camera look. So I thought, why don't I hop down memory lane, pick up the first camera that got me into filmmaking, or the first tool that I thought could really elevate my videos at that time. And what better place to go than to somewhere that you would want to have gone to as a kid, which was the Ekka, or the city town fair if you don't live in the Brisbane area. Anyway, let's see what this thing can do.
Now arriving at Narang Station.
So I hope you enjoyed that little montage from the Ekka. Look, this thing's from 2009. It's not going to win any awards. You can see the difference in side-by-sides from my phone to the iPod Nano. The thing's pretty banged up, I will admit. It has a bit of a crack in the lens, which I didn't see until I turned it on and started using it. But, you know, I think it gives the footage some character. At the end of the day, I don't think this video was about the quality of the image from an iPod Nano back in 2009. It was about what this thing did for me, personally. I've had this thing sitting in my cupboard for 2 years. I bought one with the intention to make a video to compare the quality of my phone to this thing as if that was going to prove anything. But as I got a little bit older and a little bit more nostalgic in my thinking when it comes to filmmaking, I had to look back at some of my old short films, and it was those initial moments that sparked my interest in filmmaking. And I think when you use something that you used back when you were a kid, it helps ignite that feeling again. I didn't care about resolution or megapixels or anything like that when I was hanging out with my mates and shooting a short film about a guy that picks up a ring off the ground and gives him magical powers and goes on a vengeance quest because his brother died. I think that's what that movie was. You'll see images as I'm talking, but I think it's those moments when you pick up something like this and you think, why can't I just be doing that now? I've got literally a camera that sits in my pocket that is being used for the big screen, and I take that tech for granted. I whip out my phone to take photos of my cat, which obviously everyone is going to do, but why should I have to be carrying around my Lumix just to make sure that I get pretty images? Why do I need to justify anything when it comes to wanting to create stuff. Using this little iPod at the Ekka and just around the house, it has helped reassure me that you can just be creating on your phone, which I have been this entire time. All the images that you've seen have been on my iPhone 16 Pro using the Kino app. That's why it looks a little bit nicer, but still, the barrier for entry is so low now that we can just start creating. And this little thing reminded me of that. Look, so I hope that by me rambling about my little journey into filmmaking is at least inspired you in some way to just start creating. You don't need a Lumix. You definitely don't need an iPod Nano from 2009. Look, if you want it, by all means. Just make sure you carry a battery pack in your bag because battery does not last anymore. And just start making. I'm definitely going to be trying to make more. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my little nostalgic trip down memory lane, and pick up your old camera. It might just spark something in you. Thanks. See you in the next one.